Good afternoon and welcome into Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet, official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Nathan Zegura, and a man who needs no introduction, but he'll get one anyway, the greatest linebacker coach walking God's green earth. Friend of the show, best friend of the show, really. I think it's safe to say. I think we can say that. Santa Clara alum, obviously went through a lot of ups and downs over the last few days. The great Jason Tarver. Tarvs, how are you?
I'm great. Thanks for the great introduction again. You're really good at changing it up every time.
Well, you got to keep it fresh. We got to keep it fresh, you know. You got so many accolades. We got to keep it fresh and mix in certain things here or there. All right, let's talk tournament at first. Let's start it off. Santa Clara, Cinderella story. Everybody in the world rooting for them except Dr. J in there because of his bracket. What an outrageous reason to root against the Cinderella story. They hit the three. I'm calling you. I was right there. I was blowing up your phone. No answer. You were too dialed. Go up three. What do you think is going to happen? Like, you thought they were going to win, right?
Oh, man. Well, I thought they were going to get that timeout. That would have been awesome if they did, but
should have gotten the timeout. Yeah. Coach, as soon as it's through, right the guy's ear. Timeout.
It reminded me of the bank shot by Gonzaga against UCLA, which broke my heart, too, because I went there as well.
Yes.
But
yes,
that's why they call it March Madness.
That's why they call it the madness. Did you have the same feeling that I did, that once the guy from Kentucky hit the crazy shot that in overtime, that was it?
As a coach, you can't – I don't go there. Just give me whatever's time on the clock and let's go. That's my gut. So that's what I was hoping for. I mean, we hadn't been in for 30 years. That's crazy.
I know, crazy. It would have been awesome. Santa Clara, obviously. Steve Nash back in the day beat Arizona, was a 15 seed, which was I do have some Arizona allegiance. That made me sad. The fact that it made you happy though eases the pain a little bit.
It did. I was a senior in high school, but then I got to go there when we had that run with Steve Nash. That was a lot of fun.
Which is crazy.
Yeah.
And the funny thing is, and not funny thing, but just the changing college landscape now, there's no way Steve Nash finishes his career at Santa Clara today.
Yeah, probably not. I mean, everybody moves
big money.
Now.
Yeah, he'd be playing somewhere. He'd probably play even at Duke for big money. All right, let's talk a little bit about this offseason, this football team, defensively. For you coming in, and we got to meet, we had Rudy in here. That was last week, right, Gibbe? And he did 25 minutes. He's awesome. I mean, you told me I was going to love him. I'm not so sure you guys aren't like part of the same person. There's a lot of similarities in your guys' personality and energy and approach and all of that. But we really liked him. What's it been like, for you coming in? He's come in. You guys are really the same coaching staff. You've added some more people. We got a much bigger staff now, but coming in with Rudy.
Yeah, we're about half and half. I've been waiting to Coach Rudy and I've been waiting to coach together for a while since we met, and a lot of great coaches in common.
Yep.
Jeff Olbrich, Robert Saleh, everybody. Yep. And, energy all the time. Love it. Smart. Great with it. Great with just caring about people and checking on you and same dude every day. So it's going to be a lot of fun.
Heart, mind, fist. That's what he gave. That's what he gave us. The heart, mind, fist.
Yep.
That's one of the big things there. We're going to be violent football team, which I always love the sound of that. And then you mentioned how he relates so well to his players. The newest addition into your room, Quincy Williams. I got a chance to talk with him. Rudy talked about him in his introductory press conference before he was even a Cleveland Brown, believe it or not. It's wild when those bonds matter so much in this league, and to bring a guy in like Quincy, who no shortage of energy there either.
No, not at all. And Rudy and Quincy work together, 2 different stops, and he's played his best ball with him in same forms of scheme as we run. And all we asked him was be the same guy every day, bring the energy, right? Carson likes to play catch before practice. Let's get out there and play catch. Let's get everybody going, because he will be the most veteran in our linebacker room this year.
Yeah.
And we're excited about him because he can run, he sheds blocks well, he makes explosion plays that we need in our defense, and he's done that. So need him to be the same every day, which I think he will, and he'll fit in our group really good and help us with some of the guys that haven't seen the field yet that are raring to go.
Yeah, I mean, back in 2023, he was a first-team All-Pro. First-team All-Pro. That is the highest honor, really, you can get in the game.
He says he wants to do it again. I said, well, you got to beat Carson to the ball and everybody else and Miles. So let's go beat him to the ball. That'd be great.
That's right. I mean, 4 of the last 5 seasons, over 100 tackles. We mentioned the first-team All-Pro. That's exactly what he said. He said, I want to be first-team All-Pro again. That is his personal goal, playing there next to Carson. And for you, that will linebacker spot has been so productive, but it's been a bit of a revolving door, unfortunately. Jeremiah gets hurt 2 years ago. Dev plays so well last year and is rewarded with a big contract, goes to the Chicago Bears, which we're sad to see him go. And now here comes Quincy Williams. So the week 1 starter there, or the guy you were counting on to be a big productive part of the defense, 3 years in a row, it's going to be 3 different guys. You've always been able to roll with the punches in your room. How do you get him up to speed and working with Carson in that, with our base defense is 2 linebackers.
Yeah, and well, I'll say this. I mean, our goal is to get 11 people on defense to stop the offense, no matter what it takes. And the better we do that, the more everybody gets rewarded. So really proud for Dev and everybody, and just excited for Q to get in here. But same thing. He's been in this defense. He's been in pieces with it with Rudy. So there's a nice piece that he's heard some of the words. And so his transition should be quick. And that'll be, it's like anything. It's a different language wherever you go in. But we're keeping a lot the same. Keep it easy so that way, he'll be able to come in and get going. And we need him to right away. Yeah,
for you, what's the challenge where you're going to have a linebacker room as it sits right now? Carson's really the only guy that played for you last year. Mahmoud is now in Tennessee.
Yep.
Dev, as you talked about there, is in Chicago. Quincy has experience, but guys, Pookie Watson was out with an injury. Winston Reed was out with an injury. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold played very limited defensive snaps. Could there be a rookie out of that room? Yes. Could there be a veteran? Yes. But it's not going to be guys who have been here. So how do you, as the teacher and as the leader of that room, how do you get these guys? A lot of those guys were in the classroom, Watson and Reed, but how do you get these guys up to speed, and how do you get everybody gelling and rowing in the same direction?
Well, the good part is with Nate and with Winston, they were in the room the whole year when they were on IR, and they were just studying the scheme, and they knew the scheme as good as anybody. I mean, they would get after people if they didn't know the answers.
Yeah.
So that's good. Both those two are hungry. They're working. Easton's a worker. All the guys like contact, and Eddie, who we got on practice squad at the end of last year, they all like contact. They're all doing the drills needed to help their movement, which when they got here, all 4 of them have improved already. So now, just like what happened at the end of last year with Jordan Hicks retiring, somebody's going to get a turn as the 3rd, 4th, 5th guy, and it's going to be competition in camp. Same thing we said last year, let's see who wins. I'm excited for all 4 of those guys to see them be who they can be with an opportunity to play the reps. But I like where they've gone mentally. That gives them the chance. That's the same thing that Jeremiah did in off seasons. That's the same thing, obviously, Jordan Hicks, as smart as he did, Sione, Anthony Walker. I mean, all the way back, those guys gave themselves a chance in the offseason by their mental and physical preparation. And these young guys are doing that, and we need them to. And that's their job. Next thing is every year's its own deal.
Yep.
We've seen this before. Nothing matters. Nothing matters. It's about going 1-0 every week. And when we start, whatever date it is in a few weeks, we're going. And that's what we do. And whoever's in that room, that's our job, to run, shed, and tackle the guy with the ball. And that's just how it works.
Yeah. When you look at it, Carson, obviously, Defensive Rookie of the Year, the Mike linebacker, Quincy in that Will spot, you're going to be looking for that Sam, that third guy. That's typically been a bigger guy, more physical guy. Mahmoud's been in that role for us at times. How do you look at that competition? You said it's going to be competition. You like to get guys at a lot of different spots because you're going to need people at different spots. Somebody goes down, somebody has to slide over, be the Mike or whatever, how that goes. But how do you kind of look at that competition for that we'll call it just that Sam spot?
Yeah, I'm with you. The first thing with young players is you want to give them a home. You want to give them a home position.
Yep.
But all of these guys that have been in know now that, hey, there's 3 linebacker spots. We just got linebackers. We don't necessarily have a name on them, but whoever ends up getting the reps in there and wins is going to play. And maybe it's a rotation like we've done in the past. We've used Jerome Baker and Mahmoud to in different spots. We've used Devin his first year in different spots.
Yeah.
And then Devin took over a little bit more last year. Great. You earn it, right? Andrew Luck said, football's the ultimate meritocracy. What's that mean? You get what you earn. The better you play, the more you get to play.
Yep.
And that's just what it is. And we'll roll them in, and all the reps in the offseason, all the reps in training camp are going to be big for these guys to see if they can, who is going to own it and or who's going to get into the rotation.
What made Carson so special last year?
How quick he can see things and make adjustments and not make anything too big. And just when he sees things, or he can self-correct as fast as anybody I've ever seen. In any field, not just football. He's amazing. He does it within plays sometimes.
Yeah.
He jumped when a quarterback pump fake once early in the year. He came off the sideline, says, Coach JT, I'm not going to do that again. And then you saw him against Josh Allen later. Just run right at him. You saw him against Green Bay. Just run right at him.
The Jordan Love one? Oh, that was nuts.
It's just he can lock in and do it at real live fast speed. And that is an elite trait.
What do you hope to see from him? Because when you play that well, there come great expectations. And quite frankly, as we just went through your room, we need him to be really darn good again. What's the kind of year 1 to year 2, what you hope would be a leap? Where can he, continue to improve?
Good. We've talked about some of this, but Cars can listen right now and do it. There's some things as he cleans up his feet that he can get back and set up a little bit quicker, and he's really good at it, don't get me wrong, but we can even get more out of some breaking on the ball. I mean, they went through a phase, I said it on here, where they didn't even throw the ball near him for a bunch of games. And if that continues, we're going to be a pretty good defense again. So there's some things we can clean up with his breaking. There's some things that we can do more with him that we haven't done as much, which is pass rush games and blitzing and things like that. So we'll continue to work on that kind of movement. We go down with the D-line and we compete against them, and some of the other coaches go crazy. I'm more excited about when the guys win, but let's say Carson's gotten better and better at some of the pass rush things. So keeping him going on that progression, and then things around the ball. We'll see if we can get some more forced fumbles, things like that, because he finishes at the pile so well. Yeah. And it'll happen. It's coming because he's thinking about it. He's conscious about it. And so the more he continues to finish around the pile, because how you force takeaways, as we know, is a lot of times the second, third, fourth, fifth man into a pile, or somebody struggling.
He's just usually the first guy in the pile.
Yeah, so that's exactly. So maybe when he gets somebody else in there first, maybe Q. Let's go, Q. Get Q there first. We're good.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, think about it. He had 156 tackles, 11 tackles for a loss. He had the 2 interceptions, 3 passes defense, no forced fumbles, to your point right there, 9 quarterback hits on the season, 2.5 sacks. And you know this, I'm pretty sure he had at least 2, maybe 3, where he got a sack that was taken away on a penalty.
Yeah, there's
nothing to do with it.
Yeah, a couple penalty ones. But his pass rush win percentage was good, and we got to keep getting that better and better.
Get it better and better. All right, we talk about your room, and it does seem like this is, we've done a good job identifying some of these guys in the draft or as undrafted free agents who have come in and played well under your tutelage. At the Combine, one of the treats for me is I throw the TV on, and all of a sudden, there's you leading the linebacker drills. Did you hear what they said about you? They were putting you over big. It was, I think, Charles Davis and Jeremiah and Eisen putting you over huge. They're like, oh, Jason Tarver, all the energy, love him, great coach, great teacher, all this. I'm like, that's our guy. How fun was that for you to be out there at the Combine? And listen, when you're looking at a room that maybe could use another piece or so to be able to get your eyes, see them move, feel them, learn a little bit about their personality, how valuable was that?
I love doing the drills at the Combine. Just like you said, the energy, all that's awesome. But the best part is to meet all the young men, all the guys, all at the same time. See how they compete, get to know them, give them a coaching point, see if they can put it into effect, which was awesome.
How do you get to do that?
Well, you sign up. You sign up. Your organization gets so many spots. So, shout out to Megan. Megan puts me on the list every year because I said as soon as I got back, I want to do it every year, and I love that opportunity.
They keep picking you.
Yeah,
that was like you, B. Lynch.
Yeah,
we had a bunch of coaches that were out there.
Yeah, it was awesome. Coach Lynch is doing it now too, which is good. He's great.
Yeah.
But I just love the ability to see them all at once. I love the ability to see them all at once and to hopefully give them something for their careers, because you can't have them all, but you don't know when we're going to cross paths. Might be somebody now that I worked with down there remembers me, and then we're able to work together, or we're able to, get them in here because of that interaction. You never know.
I just think it's cool, and you have such a zest for teaching and such an aptitude for it that it just seems like you were having the time of your life out there.
Yeah, it's awesome. It's a lot of fun. Rudy and I actually did those drills together a few years back. So, and you get to know the other coaches, and you get to see all of the guys, all the kids, all the scouts who interact with the kids are down there. So it's just awesome experience.
With the linebackers, are there drills that is it just like here, these are the drills and they're set, or do you get an opportunity to mold them or massage those drills?
Good question. The one that I do is one we've changed. It used to be a 45-degree angle drill, but linebackers don't do that as much anymore, where they're just going up the hash. So the one we do, the shuffle, run, change direction, spin back, that's one we added a few years ago because everybody wants to see a linebacker do those movements because that happens all the time. You run, you got to turn it back into a shuffle, then you got to break somewhere to make a tackle, then you got to turn and get out. And we modified it a little bit over the years. Now, they don't want to change too much, but if it's a drill like that is a movement that the other ones don't show, that's when some of them change. But a lot of them it's set in an order to see the players do what they need by position. And they're pretty well thought out, and there's a committee of GMs and scouts that do it.
That's cool. I didn't know if you could try to put a few things in there that were like more.
Justin runs it. He's a scout for the Niners. He runs it, and we work together well. So it's a good process, but it does. You have to talk about it before you can change it. We've added one of the drills where we come up where the linebackers come off the bags. We've added a scoop after the finish line, just because everybody wants to see the guys see how they scoop and how they bend down to get the ball and those things. So we added that a few years ago too. So there are some changes, but the overall core is built because each drill does a different movement that everybody wants to see.
How much for you personally? How much draft stuff do you do before the combine, or is that something that you do after the combine? So when you go to the combine, you're doing these drills. Are you like total blank slate? You're like, oh, I like the way this guy moves, but you hadn't watched him yet, or had you watched him and had some preconceived notions?
Well, some of the guys, when you have the formal interviews like we had with Arvell, you got to get the video ready and study them a little bit more because you have a formal interview with whoever's in the room, your head coach, your general manager, scouts, whoever's in the room. All teams do that differently. So you got to prepare that one. You want to see them a little bit more because you want to ask specific questions. So we did that, and Arvell did really well, which is awesome. But then some of the others, you don't have time to see everybody. So like you said, when you started the question, this is always the deal. Everybody has bias, no matter what it is, and all biases are different, right? We all have it. We all have our own thoughts, and that's great. Different's not bad. It's just different. We say that all the time. That's what everybody loves about being in the room because that's what we do. And so I really do just watch and listen and try to learn them as a human and how they move. But then I'm going to go back, and even in the interview process, my sheet where I ask them questions, I say, write down your strengths and things you need to work on. And when I watch the video, I watch it with what I talk to them about because I want to see if they're telling the truth. And I don't want to be biased one way or the other.
Actually, this strength is not a strength.
Right. Yeah. Like, are you telling the truth or not? I want to know. So they tell me what you're good at. Tell me what you need to work on. I'm good with that. But so that's the way I go about it. All I do is watch, see if I can help them have the best day they can because I want everybody to play as long as they can in the league. That's our job as a coach. I want everybody to have success. That's why we do what we do. And then I go back and watch it. I was actually just inputting some of the write-ups right before we started talking today. That's what I was working on. So then we go back and we see them all and then compare and contrast. And we'll go back and watch. Like if I think I missed something, I'll go watch Combine again in addition to plays. Or I'll watch their pro day if they didn't run the 40 or didn't do the movement because we need to see the movement. Like, I know I'm long, but this is a good one. Like Carson last year, he had a hamstring, so he really couldn't run. So I was with him on the field at the Combine, of course, the UCLA background, and I'm like, hey, why aren't you doing something? What's going on? And in my not really mean but direct questioning way. And I'm like, I can't wait to watch you move. Do you need anything? And then he got good enough to do the movement drills, and then Navarro Bowman did the drills. So it was good to see him do that. But I couldn't give a final grade until I saw him go through the movements that we needed to see. You got a pretty good feel when you watch the video, and we knew he could move, and we knew he was flexible and bend, and he liked contact, all the great things about Carson. But you still need to confirm all right, cool, I see the power when he breaks or whatever it is.
How hard is it like this year when you're running those drills to balance trying to watch and take in as many data points as you can with your eyes and your ears, but also remember that you have to be running the drill?
Oh, I love that part. That's the best part. It's like when they come up and it's like, all right, let's go Ohio State. You got to do this better than the last one, or let's see who can do it the best. Or, at the end, we always throw the wheel route where they catch it and then they come back. And the last one has to celebrate, so then I can tell they're thinking about their celebration or whatever. But no, it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun to get to know them. And you just know when you feel like you know them pretty well when you're down there. And you can feel the power with which they move and how excited they are and just who can focus in the moment and roll. So no, I don't. I think a few years ago I might have gotten lost one time. Like, oh, okay, I am up, but it doesn't happen that often.
When a guy like Sonny Styles does what he did at the combine from just a measurement and overall standpoint, is that something that around the linebacker coach? 'Cause I'm sure it's its own little fraternity, right? The linebackers, everybody like, oh my goodness, did you guys see this? Did you see that? Did you see what he jumped? Did you see this?
Yeah, he was great on the field. He was really smart, asked good questions, great lean body control. He's so fast and just he's an amazing guy. I mean, him and our Ohio State guys, man.
There are a lot of those. Yeah, there are a lot of them that are going to go in the top 10.
Watch.
Yeah, I bet they were fun to watch. Do you find that, and this is obviously, we have a huge Ohio State audience listening, but when you have guys that come from a school where their DC is Matt Patricia, where a guy who's been a head coach in the NFL, a DC in the NFL, do they get a different kind of preparation almost for what the NFL is coming from a situation like that? Because now if you look at them, now they have Arthur Smith as the OC now at Ohio State, Patricia is the DC. I mean,
yeah, I worked with Ryan 1 year at the Niners. I love Ryan, and I think I got to sit with Matt for about 45 minutes because he came over to watch the guys do the drills. So it was great to talk to him about the players, but also just talk about scheme and where he's gone and stuff. And Matt's so smart and such a good football coach that it's amazing. But I think overall, from evaluating linebackers going on however many years it is, I think that the diagnose and the development of linebackers has just gotten better. There was an era where everybody went to spread and it was just kind of spread, and now it's coming back to more where more tight ends and things, and it's happening at every level. And so I think the overall development of linebackers and their eyes is a little bit further ahead. And then, like you mentioned, the fact that either coaches are moving or players are moving more, they're more prepared for moving and coming into the NFL than a younger guy who maybe was a 20-year-old with 3 years at one school.
One system.
Yeah, so the more systems has actually helped them learn quicker in the football environments because they've heard more words.
Yeah.
So I think there's a lot of things going on that way on the process. But we are seeing more guys that their eyes are a little bit trained earlier than maybe past years.
It's interesting because they're learning new systems all the time. So you actually get to see how well they can process and learn something.
They've done what they're about to do before.
Yeah.
They've done it now where before they hadn't.
Right.
So the jump to the NFL could be bigger for some guys. I mean, there's obviously guys like Carson and some elite ones that just come in and can just remember everything. But
is his story one of the crazier ones you've been around? And you've been around some great linebackers, but I'm talking from the sense that this guy was a no-star, walk-on, and really didn't play until his last year because somebody got hurt at the beginning of the year and then got like he might not have ever played, and then this guy was the best rookie in the National Football League 1 year later.
Yeah, the 2-year span of what Carson's done is amazing. From the story that.
But how is he not on the field? How is that guy? How did everybody get that wrong?
Everybody develops at a different rate. One thing that happened with Carson is he's unique because he didn't get his weight until later. He's got skills of a smaller human. And then he really developed when he got there. Everybody grows at a different pace. Sure. You don't know when that's going to happen. Some people are given their gifts earlier and they're just the top recruit in the nation the whole time. Others, Carson just went in and worked. Just like he said here, I want to earn it, coach. I just want to earn it. He just went in and worked and developed and ate and trained and grew. And then there was a point where you could see it all take over. And it really was in that Hawaii game when he went in. There was a blitz, and I've told the story before, and it broke, and he went and caught the guy and made just like he does, diving sweep the leg tackle to save a touchdown. And then the last drive, Hawaii got the ball back, was driving, and Carson took the ball away. And that was when you could just saw, like, not only is he aware, he plays with great effort, and look at this big guy running and hitting. And then he just kept getting better and better. So, I mean, but that span of 2 years from that Hawaii game to the end of last year, I don't know if that's been done.
It's certainly not with anybody that has his quote-unquote background. That's right. This is a what have you done for me lately business is the sad reality of it. I mean, it's true. Yeah. It's true. What's your one non-negotiable for a linebacker in your room?
Okay, so our mantra is, and you've heard me say it, run, shed, tackle the guy with the ball.
Yeah.
If you're not running, what are we doing? If the ball is up and running until you tackle it, somebody else does, or we take the thing away, you run. So what that word is, a lot of people say loafs or whatever,
yeah.
Okay? those the effort is non-negotiable.
Yep.
And then it's shed. Shed is next. So you got to get off the blocks and make plays. Period. And they're going to hold. They're going to do everything they can in this league. And these are big humans grabbing you, and they're really strong. So you got to get off the blocks. So our rule is shed is finish it down unblocked. So you'll see it a lot of times. You'll see our guys and look for it. They'll be at the end of the pile, and they're just pushing things off them, or they're ripping. There's one with Carson and the Miami center, and they're at the end of the play, and they're just pushing each other back and forth. And Carson isn't even looking at him, but he's like, "You are not finishing it down, touching me." And I loved it, and I started the meeting with it. It's exactly what we do. And then tackle the guy with the ball. We got to get the guy on the ground and get the ball. I mean,
separate him from the ball.
So the running and the shedding are the non-negotiables, and that's what we do, and that's what's going to continue. If you earn the right to be on the field, you'll be doing that. And if you don't do that, somebody else is coming on the field, right? So that's what we care about in the room and for our defense.
I love it. I think this is going to be fun. I think that this defense is going to be very fun, and with your energy, Rudy's energy, the good staff, I'm excited for it. When do you get to get these guys and actually get a look at them? Because we got a new coach a couple of weeks, right?
Yeah, in a few weeks here because we got the new head coach. So you get the a little bit extra starting time, which would be good. And we're excited to get everybody in the building, new coaching staff, everything. So
I imagine you're already needling Wynn and Buki to get them, be like, this is your chance, Easton, all these guys.
Yeah, well, they're in doing their work and their rehab. Yeah. So they're grinding.
Oh yeah, I see you give them a little grief at lunch. I see it. I see you getting them ready. Great, Jason Tarver, our linebacker coach extraordinaire. Always a pleasure when you stop by, man. Thank you.
Great to be here as always.
All right, when we come up, we got a lot going on here on this show. We got the hot topics of the day after this big signing in the Pacific Northwest, and certainly deservedly so. We've got some Mel Kiper Jr. draft sound as well. We've got a poll for you. Hour number 2, the weekend headlines. We got, as I mentioned, the polls. We're going to check in on our CBD bracket, which should be in a garbage can. I mean, it's been completely obliterated. Embarrassing. And we'll have Titus Howard from his media availability as well. All right, kicking things off here. Jace Tarver, the best way to do it. Cleveland Browns Daily brought to you by Ballybet on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Welcome back to the Cleveland Browns Daily. The Cleveland Browns Daily. How about that? Brought to you by Bally Bet with 2 first-round picks in the 2026.
Whatever you want it to be, buddy.
That's right. In the 2026 NFL Draft. That's right. The Browns have 2 first-round picks in the 2026 NFL Draft. Browns are going to celebrate one of the most exciting nights of the league year with the 2026 free, F-R-E-E, free. No sun, no cost. Browns Draft Party in association with Canada Dry. Join us at the Cleveland Public Auditorium in downtown Cleveland and enjoy player and alumni autographs, a live DJ, giveaways, and more. Registration for tickets begins on Tuesday, April the 7th at 10 a.m. Visit clevelandbrowns.com/draftparty2026 for more information. That's clevelandbrowns.com/draftparty2026 for more information. Time now for our hot topics of the day, presented by University Hospitals, the official healthcare partner of your Cleveland Browns. It's day 78 of the 120-day plan, and we are exactly 1 month away. Today's the 23rd. Holy moly. We are 1 month away from the draft in Pittsburgh. Wow. 31 days.
Got some work to do.
Yeah.
We're in the heart of Pro Day week.
Yeah. Lots of pro days, lots of things going on. For the Browns, people are speculating that the Browns might be interested in a receiver at 6. Maybe they're interested at 24, maybe 39. We just don't know. But they are interested in a receiver. Over the last few days, top 30 visits, Mekhi Lemon, Denzel Boston, Omar Cooper Jr., Chris Bell, Jeremy Bernard. We know that Carnell Tate has been here as well. We know Jordan Tyson.
I think he was reported as one of the first ones.
That's what I thought. He may have been on the early side. I know Carnell Tate was as well.
I think. I don't know.
Browns definitely doing their due diligence, their homework on that position, and we've talked about it. Weapons. They've got to do them. All right, hot topics of the day presented by University Hospitals. That's what we mentioned. Comings and goings. Blake Whiteheart, Browns tight end, he is back. Whiteheart, of course, 2 years ago caught a touchdown in Las Vegas for his big career highlight. And then one that I know that our guy who was just here wasn't too happy about, people aren't too happy about, Mahmoud Diabate signing with the Tennessee Titans. Mahmoud's been a very solid player for an undrafted free agent. You know, when you get to this point, when you get to keep playing after your initial signing, you've done well for yourself. Undrafted, started his career at Florida, ended it at Utah. Mahmoud Diabate 2 years ago had the most action of his career, 11 starts that year. He had 70 tackles, 5 tackles for a loss. Last year in limited action, 49 tackles, 3 tackles for a loss. He had a forced fumble and a fumble recovery in his career. Mahmoud, 3 passes defense, forced fumble, 2 fumble recoveries, 127 career tackles, 8 tackles for loss. Good player, good special teams player. Would have been, he's only 24 years old, would have been the Browns, I think, probably would have been the Browns' top Sam linebacker going into this season, and so that's a hole that's going to have to be filled by the Cleveland Browns there. But Mahmoud Diabate has been very, very solid, and wish him well, certainly in Tennessee. A lot of connective tissue there. You know, Rudy and Tarver reference Bob Saleh. Both of them know him well. That's where he's going in a very similar.
Are you surprised we didn't tender him?
I am very, yes. That's a pretty big hole to me now on defense. We've got, like, as we sit here right now, and I don't know, I'm shocked. I am personally stunned MJ Emerson's not in this building at this point. Yeah, you've got right now, you have your linebacker room. You've got Carson, you've got Quincy Williams, and then it is as unproven gets at that point. Because you're talking Winston Reed. Winston Reed in his career has played 144 defensive snaps in his career.
And he's coming off of an injury.
Yeah, he missed all of last year.
That's right.
All of last year. Buki Watson has in his career played 55 defensive snaps.
And he's coming off an injury.
That he missed the entirety of the year. That's right. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold. By the way, Winston Reed undrafted. Buki Watson, 6th round pick. Easton Mascarenas-Arnold undrafted. He has played in his whole career 12 defensive snaps. And he was on the team last year. So that's kind of where you're at. Eddie Ulafoscio, I got that right. Eddie Ulafoscio, he has in his career played a grand total of 64 defensive snaps.
That's right.
In their careers.
Jerome Baker's a free agent.
Jerome Baker's a guy that I think you would want to bring back. He was solid for the Browns last year. He's a veteran. He knows this defense well. Heck, even last year, he didn't play a ton of snaps, but he played 261. That's basically the same as all of these guys combined. And that's what he did last year. In his career, he's played 6,152 defensive snaps. We have 4 guys who have played 144 and 55. That's 199. That's 211. That's 275. Those 4 guys have played 275 defensive snaps in their career combined behind our top 2. Like, it's not just we need a starting Sam. You
need some depth.
Guys get hurt.
Yeah.
So, last year from, Dev, JOK, Mahmoud, over the last few years, Jordan Hicks retires. Of the guys that have played a lot that are gone now, you don't have that. And you don't have the great depth there. At the cornerback room, I still think, man, it's wild to me MJ Emerson is not in this building. I would have him in this building because at this point, that means he didn't get a great offer. And it's unfortunate for him because this is a guy who his first 2 years in the league, he was on a trajectory where he would have been making $20 million this year. First 2 years in the league, 4 picks, 29 passes defensed. I mean, he was playing really well. Last year that you saw him was not his best year. Everybody would admit that. Then last year he gets hurt, misses it. But to me, this is going to be he's a hungry guy.
Do you remember do you remember that game against, was it the Chargers? It was a 4th down and like 3 or
against
4th
Mike
and 4,
Williams.
and he said, put me out there.
Yep.
And I'll go one-on-one, and I'll stop this. We know it's coming. I'll stop this.
And he did. I believe, unfortunately, we still missed the field goal. Like, we got a 4th down stop
we
near
didn't
mid-field
win.
goal, and he
That's
missed
right.
field goal. But in that one, he had the big pass breakup on 4th down against Mike Williams. But he was just, man. Yeah, like, I still think we got, cornerback 3-4 is a question mark to me. Miles Harden played well last year, but I still think there's some room there. On the defensive line, I think there's a spot or two, depending on how things all ultimately shake out there. Linebacker, I think you need 2 guys, probably a veteran maybe and a rookie. And safety, we still don't have that 3rd safety. Now maybe they think that Chris Edmonds or Donovan McMillan can do it, but right now don't we just have the 4 safeties? Am I missing somebody?
You've got Delpit,
Hickman,
Edmonds, and McMillan. That's it.
Yeah. I mean,
no, we just who did we sign? Daniel Thomas. But special teams.
He's a special teams guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. Daniel Thomas, definitely much more of a special teams player than he is. He played 100 defensive snaps last year, 34, 14, 32 the 3 years prior. So this is not a guy who he's not going to be our 3rd safety. He's here to play special teams. He's a special teams professional, which is a good thing. It's good to have those guys back. But there are some real depth issues right now on the
we didn't think we had to worry about.
No, there are. And now that you got obviously draft picks and opportunities to do that, but there's some things that certainly have shown up. No doubt. The Seahawks and Jackson Smith and Jigba have signed a deal 4 years, $168.6 million. They averages 42.1 per year, 120 guaranteed, both of which are records for wide receiver. He is now tied to the Seahawks, through the 2031 season. And then payday is going to be coming for Puka Nacua entering the final year of his deal. He now has a new bar to clear, pointed out very astutely there. But Jackson Smith and Jigba deserves it. He got paid, and he is doing quite well, no doubt.
It's not too shabby a day for him.
No, not too
Now,
shabby.
they still have to sign, is it Witherspoon, I think? The guy
Devin Witherspoon,
is the guy they drafted the same year. So He's owed a payday as well. So, and this is the curse of being the Super Bowl champ.
Yeah, this is the one that they had to get to, though. No doubt. No doubt. It's deserved. He's nothing short of sensational. That's why it's always so important to have that one big weapon, and they certainly had it in him.
Late bloomer at the NFL level. I remember your frustration his rookie season.
Oh, they just wouldn't give him it wasn't so much his fault. I felt like they just weren't giving him the ball. Like, it was ridiculous.
But I don't think he had the rookie year that everybody was thinking or hoping. And
so, let me pull him up real fast. All right, Jackson Smith and Jigba. I mean, he's been a Pro Bowler each of the last 2 years. Yeah, rookie season, 63 catches, 628, and 4 touchdowns. Only got 3 starts, though. Remember, they still had Tyler Lockett and Metcalf, and they just really didn't get him really in the mix. Then he starts to become a top guy, 100 catches, 1130, and 6. And last year, the unquestioned top guy, 119, leads the NFL, 1,793 yards, 10 touchdowns. Guy was unbelievable. Led the league at 14.5 yards per touch, 11 yards a target, 73% catch rate. I mean, the last 2 years, which is off the charts. Yeah, he is a superstar, and he certainly deserves it, the reigning offensive player of the year.
And you would think up next is Puka Nacua.
Yep.
Whose contract is up after this coming season.
And Puka has just done it every single year. I mean, every single year. Puka Nacua, 105, 1486, and 6. Then he has 79, 990, and 3 in only 11 games, 990 yards in 11 games. And then last year, 129 catches, 1,715 yards, 10 touchdowns in 16 games. He was unbelievable. He's averaging basically almost 14. He's averaging 1,400 yards receiving a season for his 3 years in the NFL. Guy, yeah, he will certainly get paid. All right, today's web poll: 1 month out from the 2026 NFL Draft, what 2 positions do you want the Browns to draft in the first round? Wide receiver, offensive line, wide receiver, and anyone from Ohio State. So that would mean a wide receiver and Caleb Downs. Sure. Or Sonny Sykes or Arvell Reese. Option D, best players available.
So we've already got 141 votes on this.
Okay.
This will go for another hour.
Okay.
In last place, wide receiver and any Buckeye, 5%.
Okay.
Third place, wide receiver, 10%.
What?
That's right.
Okay.
Best player available, 11%, is currently in second. And with 74% of the vote, wide receiver, O-line.
Yeah, that should be the winner. No doubt. I get it. I see it. It should be the winner.
I don't know.
It should be.
Get my offensive lineman in the second round. Go get me a wide receiver. Then go get me another wide receiver. I'm fine with that, if that's how it turns out.
For sure. But I think all in all, that should be the winner because we have glaring needs at both of those. Wide receiver is a little greedy. That should be the big one. I'm surprised. Wide receiver and like Caleb Downs should be higher up than it is.
Or wide receiver and a Buckeye. Yeah. Absolutely.
Yeah, right.
I'm kind of surprised about that.
I agree.
But you can vote at Browns_Daily.
There you go. All right. When we come back, we're going to hear a little bit from Mel Kiper Jr. on his draft call with the media late last week. You're listening to Cleveland Browns Daily on 850 ESPN Cleveland. If a car, truck, or motorcycle accident caused you injury, call the injury lawyers at 1-800-ELK, Ohio for a free case review. Elk and Elk, proud partner of the Cleveland Browns. Little sound time now. We're going to hear from Mel Kiper Jr., the godfather of NFL draft analysis. Here's some takeaways that can pertain to the Browns and their strategy in this year's draft, starting with Mel Kiper Jr. on Spencer Fano.
Yeah, I think it's a great guy. I think Fano will be a right tackle, guard, or center. And because he was too tall for center. Don Mosbar wasn't too tall for center coming out of USC to the Raiders. He was 6'7". Fano's a great athlete. He's a tremendous movement. I mean, his ability is through the roof as well from a talent standpoint. The 32 arms are going to prevent him from being, with some people, a guaranteed starter at right tackle, say, like he was at Utah. But I know some teams feel he can get it done at that spot. He's certainly going to be an outstanding guard and could be a heck of a center. He could be an immediate starter at guard, and he has the ability to be a right tackle down the road.
All right, here's Mel Kiper Jr. on wide receiver. Jordan Tyson still has not been able to run after that hamstring injury.
Yeah, let me just go to the players. I don't forget, Tyson is an interesting guy, Q. I mean, he would be wide receiver 1 if he were not dealing with the hamstring and the durability concerns with the 3 injuries. Because guess what? If you watch him when he was healthy, wow. I mean, he's 6'2", 205. He can run. He's tough. He did 26 reps. You already saw that on the field where he can break tackles. He explodes past people. When Sam Levitt was healthy in 2024, they were a great pass catch tandem at Arizona State. He showed great promise at Colorado, even as a punt returner that year. So he's dynamic. Hopefully he can shake the injuries and be 100%. And boy, whoever gets him is going to get a whale of a player. So for me, Tyson is a guy that's just outstanding.
And we just don't know in the medicals. That's going to tell a lot. If this is a guy that's on the board still in the second round, you're going to know the medicals were not good at the combine.
He was here, so
yep.
That's between the combine and here, we would have a good idea of what that status is and what that situation is. But, yeah, it is a little concerning that he continues to battle that.
It certainly is. One guy who might have been a first-round pick last year, now we don't know where he will go. The accuracy certainly is an issue, but from physical gifts, talents, he's got it all. Drew Aller. Here's Mel Kiper Jr.
Well, I think the accuracy issue is there. His last 4 games of that 2024 season, he was below 60% against good opponents, and he missed some throws. And this year, you watch him against Villanova even early this year. He had the interception. He missed some throws that he shouldn't miss. But if you can basically bottle some of the great moments, you would have a franchise quarterback there. So he needs to be more consistent with his accuracy. Make a decision every now and then that makes you scratching your head. He needs to be able to tie that lower body, the footwork, in sync with the upper half, which is something I think a quarterback coach can work with and do some things there. He can make the tight window throws. He's effortless throwing the football, and he can spin it. And he can move, and he's a great kid. So there's a lot to work with there with Drew Aller. That's why it's conceivable, it's possible he could be the 3rd quarterback taken. Could he be a disappointment? Could he be another Penn State quarterback like, remember, Christian Hackenberg days, 2nd-round pick that didn't pan out? Yeah, there's going to be, but it depends where you draft Drew Aller. If you draft him, say, in the 3rd, 4th round, it's a risk-reward. At that point, a guy who looks the part like Drew Aller and is a great kid is worth bringing into the fold at that point.
And I think he's somebody the Browns could target later on if they take a quarterback later in this draft. Mel Kiper Jr. now, and how teams with new position coaches approach the draft, specifically on the offensive line, where the Browns have a veteran but new to us for, second time here with the Cleveland Browns, and George Warhop.
Well, obviously it impacts who these guys are looking for, the type of system that's in place, the skill set of the player that's involved coming out. Again, they have a lot to do. Position coaches have a lot to do with who's selected at that spot. Obviously, you go to those guys. Can you work with this player? Can he shift positions? Like I say, right tackle. A lot of these guys this year, it's kind of interesting with this group of offensive linemen because they're not locked into one spot. This is the 1 year where you have guys who fit a scheme, or they could fit both schemes. Or they could be a right tackle, they could be a guard. You don't know. You're going to get them, and you're going to have to figure it out. And they're going to have to figure it out. This is a draft that I have not seen one of these types of drafts from an offensive line standpoint, particularly a tackle, really, Joe, until this year. I mean, you're looking at everybody except Monroe Freeling and Blake Miller. And if you go to Arizona State, maybe that would be the right tackle, but he's got a lot of talent. He could maybe be more than that. But a lot of these guys have the ability to play. Spencer Fano, we talked about playing 3 different positions, right? We talked about C.C. Maui-Noah from Miami. Was he a right tackle? Is he a guard? You don't know. Caden Proctor could play any one of 4 positions, right? So at the end of the day, you got a lot of versatility with some of these guys and a lot of unknowns about where they fit in. So that offensive line coach is going to say, number one, does he fit what I want him to do? And number 2, can he play this spot that we need him to play? If not, the fallback is over here, but we don't need him here. We need him here. So at the end of the day, it's going to be offensive line coaches are going to have a lot of work to do this year in terms of projecting, not only from a scheme standpoint, but a talent standpoint to see can they get it done at tackle, or they're going to have to be a guard because there's a lot of mixed opinion on a lot of these offensive linemen in this draft.
Yeah, and that's when you're looking for a pure left tackle. That's one of the things that is a challenge for the Cleveland Browns in this particular draft.
Are you looking for – you personally, would you want someone that can just play one position on the offensive line that you know can play that one position at a high level, or – do you want a guy that can play 2 or 3 positions?
If you're looking for a tackle, you want a tackle.
Okay. Plain and simple.
That's what
Guard and center, you can move around.
Yeah.
Okay.
But if you're looking for a tackle, you want a tackle. Now, Joel Bitonio was a tackle in college who became a guard in the NFL, but clearly whenever we need him to play tackle, is also very good at that. So
yes. He did not like that.
You want a good football player. I think that's the most important thing. But, yeah, tackles get paid more than guards for a reason.
Yeah.
So that's how I would look at it. And then finally, Mel Kiper talking about how next year's draft class and the reported great draft class obviously could affect team strategies this year.
Trading down depends upon who they want to trade up for, and are you comfortable moving down and losing that player or two? So that depends on how these guys come off the board. You see all the different things. Field and I were talking about that, and everybody's got different opinions, and Field and I differed on a couple of things. I said, okay, if that happens the way Field thinks, then if you trade down, you can maybe still get that guy. And in some cases, if you trade down, you lose another player. So it depends on how your board matches up. So what your needs are, number one. And number two, valuing next year, I get it. But you never know how those guys are going to play. You just don't know who's going to get hurt. Football is unfortunately a game of injury. We thought this year was going to be loaded with quarterbacks. They all fizzled out. Now they're being pushed into next year. We'll see what Lenora Sellers develops into at South Carolina. If Dante Moore becomes the guy I think he can be as an elite guy, could Arch Manning, is he going to become Arch Manning that we all talk about as the number one player guaranteed in next year's draft? Jeremiah Smith, been waiting him for Ohio State, the wide receiver, to come out. He hadn't been able to until next year, right? Is he going to be great again and be that second, third, fourth pick overall? And a host of others. Simmons at Texas is a great edge pass rusher. So these guys have that great season. We said Peter Woods was talked about to be a top 5, top 10 pick. Didn't happen at Clemson. T.J. Parker at Clemson was talked about way up there as well. Keldrick Falk. The list goes on and on of guys this year we thought would be way up there back in August that were not because they didn't have their production. So next year we're expecting all this. Does it actually happen? And you don't know. So I don't know about affecting. I think teams would like to position themselves for next year if the opportunity presented itself. But there are some guys this year that if a Spencer Fano starts dropping a little bit, if a Mekhi Lemon dropped a little bit, wide receiver from USC, if I'm Cleveland at 24, I'm going to go up and get him. If Ty Simpson gets in the late first round, our team's going to try to go up and get him. I know Jordan Reed has suggested Arizona could. Field kind of agrees with Arizona jumping in there. Some people think the Jets could jump back in. Take obviously, whether it be Bailey or Reese at 2, and then get a receiver at 16 like Lemon or Tyson, then come back in and get the quarterback. Or just wait till next year where they have 3 first-round picks and get a quarterback there. So there's going to be, I think the question is a great question because next year's going to be, on paper, a really strong draft, but you never know.
That's right. That's what they're saying about this one, but we'll see, and we'll see how that affects people wanting to trade and move around that first round. All right, when we come back, we're going to have some fun. We're going to hear from Dan Orlovsky with a hot take, flaming hot take from Dan Orlovsky, and much, much more. Titus Howard get to meet the newest Browns right tackle. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Ballybet, an official sports betting partner of your Cleveland Browns. Please bet responsibly. Hour number 2 of Cleveland Browns Daily from the Cross Country Mortgage Campus here in Berea. And if you want to get the ultimate Browns gear, just head to the Browns Pro Shop, a Fanatics experience right next to Huntington Bank Field. Jerseys, hats, hoodies, collectibles, and exclusive merch you will not find anywhere else. Shop in-store or online at shop.clevelandbrowns.com. The Browns Pro Shop, official merchandise for true Browns fans. Time now for a little weekend headlines. But first, I don't know if I told you, on Saturday wasn't the warmest day ever.
No, it was downright awful. It snowed in Buffalo. I woke up to snow.
It did not snow here, but it was insanely cold. And me and the kid and Jimmy Bang Bang and Kato.
You brought the band back together?
We got together. We went to Ellsworth in Hudson, in Bo's neck of the woods, nape of the way, which I had never heard of until a week ago. It's a public track out there. It used to be a club, I guess. Really cool. Very cool course. Had some awesome holes. Was in surprisingly good shape given the conditions. We teed off at 10:56 and it was freezing. Fortunately, no wind. That was our saving grace. By the end of the round, it was all right. We were able to take off our many layers. But me and Jimmy got it done. We got it done. I was pretty hot, and then Jimmy was clutch with the putter on some of his holes, and
that's the key right there.
He was from 7 feet. It was great. There's one hole where he was a 7-footer, and we needed it at this point. They were up 1. It was like the 6th hole. Like on the front, at one point, like the kid and Kato were like combined 2 under par. Gross. Yeah.
So the kid has not cooled off. Winter has not cooled
the kid. Yeah, the kid's down to an 8.7 index.
What?
Yeah. Shout out to kid. But Jimmy Bang Bang on this day, on this hole, so he's getting ready to putt. He's got like a 7-footer that we have to have because he was getting a stroke. I didn't get a stroke. And Kate, they were in for a par on this really good par 5. And as he's getting to the ball, I'm like, there's nobody I'd rather have putting this than you, Jimmy. And then Shafe, the kid, was making some comments, and then afterwards, Jimmy, he makes the putt, mind you. Then he starts yelling at both of us how he needs like total silence when he's putting. I said, apparently not.
You did just fine.
And what I was saying was a good partner. Like, is your walk your ball? Like, dude, nobody I'd rather have. That's good confidence. That's good belief. And then he's like, well, not you, him. So there's a couple years ago, we were playing at Walden. It was before one of the Thursday night leagues. And we're on like the 3rd hole, and me and the kid are up on the green, and Jimmy's taking a while in the fairway. He's like 60 yards out. And we're talking and going back and forth and saying some stuff or whatever, and then Jimmy hits a bad shot and starts screaming like, would you guys, shut up or whatever. And the kid goes, didn't know you had rabbit ears, Jimmy. And so now he's rabbit ears. But he was clutch. He was from 5 to 10 feet.
In adverse conditions.
Automatic. Yeah, he played really well.
I can't believe you guys played.
Yeah.
Like, we were
talking
about taking the clubs and going up there like
pretty well.
Friday morning was supposed to. It rained sideways. It was a minor nor'easter.
No, we were lucky. We were lucky. And we were not the only people out there. We made a huge move after 9. So when we teed off, the tee time that was ahead of us was like 45 minutes ahead of us, so we didn't think we were going to see them. Then all of a sudden we're on 7 and they're on 8T. I'm like, and we hadn't seen them. And I'm like, wait a second. Is that 8?
What are you guys doing?
Oh, man. So we catch them at 9, and we were like waiting to hit 9's a par 3. It's a par 71. Like, it plays a lot longer than the yardage on there. From all the way back would be an absolute bear. Maybe when it's dry it'd be better, but some really cool holes, like a par 5 where you can hit a second shot all the way, all carry over water if you want to go for it or not. Like, it's very, very cool. So we decided on 9 to just zip to 11. We skipped 10, and then we came back and played that at the end. And Jimmy, we had won the match on 18, so 10 was just for like a press if there was, perhaps a little more going one way or the other. And Jimmy needed a 2-putt, and it ran it like 7 feet by, and then just drained it.
Really?
Yeah, it was great.
Nice.
It was great. And then we played one extra hole. We played the 11th, which was going to be for a little chance at redemption. I get up there. The tee boxes were, and this gets me sometimes. I don't know if this ever gets you. If their mow lines in a tee box are not straight to the fairway, it really messes with me.
Yes.
So these ones were mowed left, right towards OB.
Thanks for nothing.
So it's subconsciously you line up I think it does it just subconsciously.
Yeah.
So I lined up there, hit it OB left. And this is going to be for a little bit extra. Jimmy looks like he hits it in the hazard right. You can't see it, but it looks like it. Kid hits his OB left. Cato hits his definitely in the hazard right. So I'm like, all right, let's all just hit another one.
A little breakfast ball.
We'll all just hit another one and play the whole. Jimmy's like, I'm telling you, my ball's in. We're like, okay. So we all hit another one. Cato hits a decent one. Kid, unfortunately, was OB again. Jimmy I hit a good one down the middle, down the right side, and then Jimmy hit another one that was like fine. We get up there, he finds his first ball. So he's like, let's play the first ball because Kid's OB, Cato's out. Now I'm also OB, so I'm really lying in the fairway now. Then I'd be lying in 3 in the fairway because I hit my third shot off the tee. It's a par 5. Kid's ball's like 5 feet OB, so not a ton, but it's OB.
It's on the right side of the white stakes.
Jimmy, who, if you remember, gives putts that sometimes are not great for
it's generous.
The match, and there's nothing wrong with being a generous guy. Jimmy tells the kid, just play it. Now, meanwhile, the kid's stroking on a par 5. So I said, wait a second now, Jimmy. Hold on a second here. I said, I'll make this deal. I'll make the deal. I'll let the kid play, but he doesn't get a stroke on the hole, which is really saving him 2 shots. He's
Correct.
hitting 2 and said he would have been hitting 4 from there. So kid agrees to it. Kid makes an unbelievable par from out of there. I make the greatest par of my life. I hit the next shot on a par 5 onto the green to 10 feet and make the putt for eagle for par. So I make a par after hitting my first ball OB. And Jimmy makes a 5 for a 4 with his stroke. And so we were all
I think
champions.
people are tired of this. The weather.
Oh my goodness.
And they're like, we're just going to brave the elements. I'm going to put 5 layers on, and I might not be able to feel my toes by the time we're done, but I'm playing golf.
Yep.
I think that's where I'm tired of hitting in a simulator. Get me out on some grass and let's play golf.
Yep.
I think that's all this is right now.
Yeah.
Good job by you guys.
Oh man, it was great. I mean, we were first out there, like it was still when we teed off, it was 39.
Yeah, that doesn't
not
sound
normal.
fun at all.
It was fun though.
The group made it fun.
The group was very fun, and it
I'm
started.
happy to see the kid hasn't cooled off.
No, he's
when you don't play for 4 or 5 months.
Oh, but he does in the off season. He gets some time in Florida. He does some sim work, and he does a lot of mental work. He gets a lot of mental reps.
Yeah,
he gets a lot of mental reps.
Yeah, he does. I could see that.
He gets a lot of mental reps.
That's right.
He gets them loaded up there. But Jimmy Bang Bang, Jimmy Bang Bang and I have decided we've never lost together.
Before we get into the weekend headlines, we can get into today's headlines. Dan Orlovsky making some headlines today. Here's ESPN's Orlovsky earlier today on ESPN's Get Up and who he thinks QB1 in this draft should be.
Ty Simpson has been a fascinating person in this draft, going back to the middle part of the season where he seemed to be trending towards QB1.
Yeah.
And then the season went on and there became no question that Fernando Mendoza is going to be the first quarterback taken in this draft. Certainly that is at least the conventional wisdom, and Ty Simpson could fall anywhere in the first round. You have looked at the tapes. What are you seeing?
I think Ty Simpson is QB1. I think Ty Simpson is the best quarterback in this class. I think when you look at the body of work and what was asked of these 2 quarterbacks, you have to start with the question, who needed to do more to carry their football team to play well? Ty Simpson, and it's not close between those 2 quarterbacks. Who took more games over throughout the course of the season? Ty Simpson. It's not even close. And if we're asking, okay, we're trying to see what you are as a player in college and what you're going to be asked to do in the NFL and what translates. I start with, what do you do in moments of panic with the football? Because that's really what separates good to great. I would tell you that Ty Simpson is more consistent in that regard. There's not a ton of moments of panic out of Fernando Mendoza. And then there's moments when he immediately drops his eyes and becomes a runner. Ty Simpson more consistent in that. What guy was asked to do more NFL throws? When I say NFL throws, I'm talking 15, 20, 25-yard in routes, crossing routes, deep corner or sail routes. Ty Simpson, and it's not even close in that regard. Downfield throws, the posts and the goes, I think they're close. Mendoza throws a lot of go routes, and he's good at it, but I think they're close. RPO, get it out. That's probably what Mendoza's offense was.
Right.
And then I think throwing on the move, they're both relatively equal. So when it comes to moments of panic and big throws, real NFL throws, I think it's clearly Ty Simpson.
So it is, I mean, to be clear, this will get a lot of attention that you feel this way because you are, at this point, I think one of the people whose opinions on this stuff matter the most. And everyone has their opinion, and this is certainly going to be an unconventional one. But you're comfortable saying if you had the choice between the two of them, you would take Ty right now.
I would much rather have Ty, and I like Fernando Mendoza. This is not to slight Mendoza.
Yeah.
I would rather have Ty Simpson at the 15 to 20 range than Fernando Mendoza at 1.
Wow. There you go. Making a little news. Are you on? Is your mic on?
Is it?
Now it is.
Oh.
There it is.
First day back. I've been screwing up things right and left,
don't
Kev.
worry about
Buckle up, Kev. Don't know what's coming.
You know you can always put it on me. I'm here.
Nope. I take full blame. There have been a few times already today. I could understand if you want to make an argument that maybe Fernando Mendoza shouldn't be the first player picked. I could see that.
Yeah.
But Ty Simpson's not the best quarterback in the draft. Not right now.
No, but he's, listen, first of all, he's saying, can you give us a position that you can defend and feel, reasonably good about it, that's going to generate a lot of headlines and talk, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
And speaking of, Chris Sims has done the same thing right here with the wide receivers.
If you'd like to, as we get into the weekend headlines, a month out from the NFL draft, Chris Sims, our favorite instigator, with his top 5 wide receivers out this afternoon. Tier 1, number 1 wide receiver on his board, Denzel Boston.
Who I like. Big size. Now, can he run? We haven't gotten to see any of those things.
Did Nick Shook not like him? Did I hear that correctly?
Nick Shook did not like him. Yeah.
Shooker.
Yeah. Did not like him.
Number 2, still in Tier 1, was Jordan Tyson. Obviously, we just talked about him a little bit, battling the injury bug and what he can be and what he can't be. Tier 2, from Tennessee, Rocky Top, Chris Brazzell. And then at number 4, he's got Carnell Tate. Tier 3, and his number 5 wide receiver is Zachariah Branch.
And he doesn't have Mekhi Lemon anywhere on there.
That's right. Your thoughts, Nathan Zagura?
Surprising. Again, this is, I think, good conversation starters and good conversation pieces. Carnell Tate seems to be most people's consensus number 1, but that's not what Chris Sims does. And he always has different kind of rankings than I think the consensus. And that's his method, and this is what he sees. Denzel Boston's a guy that I've liked a lot to the Browns, potentially at 24 if you went lineman early. But it's interesting. Again, these are just good. These are always conversation pieces.
Indeed. And, Kev, I believe we have that clip of Chris Sims explaining himself, this from his Unbuttoned podcast.
One of the things I wrote, I wrote, I don't think he's a top 5 or top 10 pick from pure talent and explosiveness in that way. And again, I think guys you can look at that I would say are similar a little. Rome Odunze. Rome Odunze is really good, but again, I would sit here to this day right now and still go, I don't think he was worth where he got picked.
Right.
He's a good player, no doubt. I wrote 20 to 32. That's where I see it. But I understand that the league looks at him in a higher way than I do. And
Giants, Browns, Saints is what I've consistently heard.
Yeah. Hey, and maybe it is. Maybe he can turn into Devontae Adams. Maybe he turns into that, and then Chris Sims says, shut the hell up.
That's all about Carnell Tate.
Yeah, which is, again, that's a surprise to me. That's a surprise. So I don't really know.
I don't know.
I don't know where he's coming from, but we'll see. We'll see what the league thinks and what he thinks could obviously always be very different things.
All right, from the weekend, college hoops. The first 2 rounds of the NCAA tournament are in the books. On to the Sweet 16 we go. Where would you rank the first weekend of March Madness when it comes to sporting events on the calendar?
I like it. I do think it's very fun. It's funny. I don't, I was like, oh, my bracket's must. I don't watch college basketball. I really don't know anything about college basketball, so I shouldn't be surprised that my bracket is not great. I'm an Arizona fan, so that's why I have them going all the way. They just so happen to be a team that can do that, and so that's fun. But, yeah, it is super fun. There's always a game on. There were a lot of great finishes over, the 4 days. So that was fun. Yeah, I do think, though, it's pretty clear that, Texas, while it's an 11 seed, that's a big school, big conference. that, yes, I do think NIL and the transfer portal and all of that, it's very hard. The best players from these mid-majors are going to end up going to big schools. And so the rich definitely are getting richer, in terms of the talent that they have provided to them.
Yeah. It was, in terms of great games, Florida losing last night to Iowa was a great game. On Friday during the show, that Kentucky matchup with
Santa Clara.
With Santa Clara, that's right. Yeah, just a fantastic.
And yesterday, Kansas St. John's was an awesome game. I cannot believe Kansas used all their time fouls to give, got the clock down, and then didn't have anybody help on a layup. Like, make a big guy shoot a crazy three. Like, that's a fine outcome. And instead, they let a guy just go get a layup. I thought it was nuts.
I had St. John's.
I didn't. I had Kansas.
And I will tell you this: my
Duke.
Dookie Flukies, if they don't show up this week, they will go home on Friday night. Because it's Duke and St. John's, and then if Duke wins, they get the winner of Michigan State and UConn. Like, they had a rough weekend.
Yeah.
TCU played them tough. The Siena thing was a debacle as I was driving up to Buffalo for the NCAA tournament.
I bet it was.
It was not great. I was not in a good place. It's interesting to see what happens now, because it's all, for the most part, been chalk.
Yeah.
So, can the other 3 number 1 seeds get it done? That will be the question. Let's see. In hockey, some criticism has fallen on Jack Hughes, the scorer of the Golden Goal to win the United States their first men's hockey gold medal since 1980, for making a remark about not getting the puck he scored the goal with. Phil Pritchard, the curator of the Hockey Hall of Fame in Toronto, also a Canadian, said simply, the puck is not Jack's to own. If you produced a historic moment in sports, would you want the memento of something you used to create that moment?
So my question, he's got his stick, right?
I would assume he has the stick.
He has his sweater.
He doesn't have the stick?
All of it goes in the Hall of Fame.
Even his sweater?
Yep.
No, he should get to have something.
That's dumb. You got to give the man something.
So the
baseball guys walked in the WBC with the USA sweaters on that they wore in that game.
That's true.
I don't know. So maybe.
So they didn't even have them after the game.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't know what that. I don't know what that looks like. I mean, I feel like you got to be able to keep something. But yeah, that was. I get the puck. Like that's a big moment, whatever the case.
If he doesn't have his stick or his sweater, that's not okay.
Then I would have an issue.
Then he's got to have something. As long as he has something.
Yeah.
Got the medal.
I know, but everybody on the team has the medal. He scored the goal. He's got to have something from that moment, the goal scoring moment.
Final one here before we get to our podium of the day, which is the Titus Howard availability. In baseball, the MLB regular season kicks off this week. Giants and Yankees will be a standalone game on Netflix Wednesday at 8:05 to get the season going. Will this be the last season we have baseball for a while? The CBA expires after the season. Plenty of debate about whether a salary cap / floor is necessary. What needs to happen to save baseball from a lockout, or just do you not care?
I think that baseball, when you look at the share that it has in this country and what TV ratings are for baseball and all of those things, it going away would be very, very bad.
I mean,
going away
you should
and
learn from hockey's mistake.
Disappearing for a year from the conscious would be, I think, very bad. So I think they need to get it figured out.
Yeah,
they need to get it figured out.
Yeah, I don't think you'd recover.
I do think a salary cap is a good idea.
It has to. A salary cap, but then
also
a minimum number that you have to spend.
So
you're
here's
not
your salary
piles
range.
Of
it
money.
has to be this. You must spend between this and this. Yes, I think that'd be good. Because unfortunately, baseball is really kind of not fair in the manner in which, the Dodgers, Yankees, the big market teams with a lot of money can just spend money and they just have better teams.
That's right. That's right.
I'm picking up what you're putting down.
There you go.
All right, when we come back, we're going to the podium. Are we going to check in our bracket? Oh, no, we probably have to get to the podium. We're going to go to the podium.
We could skip the podium and have a little fun. Or you could go to the podium.
What do we have? Talk to me. Talk to me right now. What are we?
Take a break. We'll skip the podium.
Okay,
I can do
fine.
podium later in the week.
Fine.
We have more than enough stuff to get us through.
Of course you can. Of course. All right.
That's right. Well,
Yes.
hey, you and Bishop are
I know.
on the side.
No, so save it for yourself. All right. When we come back, we're going to take a look at our absurd bracket with the categories that we did that is absolutely decimated. We'll go back, check on the poll, the fan bracket, all of those things.
We got a few other things.
We got things going on. All right. That's
we
coming
talk
up
about
next.
Travis Kelce's insane contract that he signed.
Cleveland, I don't even know anything about it. Cleveland Browns Daily, presented by Bally Bet, official sports betting partner of Cleveland Browns on 850 ESPN Cleveland. Add more fun to your fandom with the Bally Bet Sportsbook app. Download today and get $50 in bonus bets when you place your first wager of $10 or more. Bally Bet, an official sports betting partner of the Cleveland Browns. Reminder to vote now in today's CBD poll on Twitter at Browns_daily. 1 month out from the 2026 NFL Draft. What two positions do you want the Browns to draft in the first round? Option A is wide receiver. Option B, which is running away with this, receiver, offensive line. C, which should be doing better than it is, wide receiver and anybody from Ohio State. And D, best players available. which is not doing so hot.
74% wide
74.
receiver offensive line.
Yeah, and I think that's probably the consensus of how it will go, but we'll see ultimately if that does how it plays out.
11% wide receiver, 10% BPA, 6% wide receiver, and any Buckeye. We did say if you have a BPA, comment below. Tom Buttinger, you don't turn down a generational talent for a 4 to 5 year stopgap at another position simply because of need. Need is perception. You should use the draft to build up the talent on your roster regardless of position. If you're faced with a prospect of having to fill a position of weakness completely before the start of the season, there are more ways to do that than just the draft.
Yep.
If you want to populate your roster with the best talent, you go BPA.
Yep.
This guy went on. This guy had quite the diatribe. Pretty good. Don Hubbard, you should have added a fifth choice because it's actually how a huge portion of our fan base thinks. Any OSU player plus any OSU Buckeye plus any OSU Buckeye plus any OSU Buckeye, and never take anyone from Michigan. Well, I don't know if I agree with that. Robert Elam, I see most people are drinking the Kool-Aid, and that's why the Browns keep suffering. You take the best player available. When you need so many players, talent always wins over need.
I think you got to get I think a guy at 6, I've said that. A guy at 6 has to be a good football player, period.
That's right. Our CBD bracket.
All right, so the East was based on branding. So that's like a combination of the brand, the logo, the colors, all of it. We have, I think, 2 teams left in the Sweet 16 here. This might be our best region. We still have Duke. Kansas is out. We have Kansas winning this region, so that's out.
That was Bo Bishop dying on that hill.
He was
should have just gone with Duke, and you'd have been fine.
Just fine. And then Michigan State is good because we had UCF over UConn.
That's right.
Which seems crazy in retrospect.
I did enjoy their unis.
Because it was the Knights.
Yep. That's right.
Yep. All right. And then the next region was, where do you want your kid to go to college? This region is toast. We had Vanderbilt coming out of this one.
Vandy, who almost won on a half-court shot.
Carolina lost in the first round. We have nobody in the Sweet 16.
No one. You had St. Mary's, UNC, Vandy, and Florida in your Sweet 16.
That's just great.
Well, it made me happy to see North Carolina lose at the tournament the other night. I was doing a happy dance in Buffalo.
All right.
I might have had a few drinks.
I don't think we're doing too hot over here either.
Which one you looking at? Because, yeah, you'd be correct.
Now we're going to the West region. Mitch Mascot wins a fight death. We have Arizona into the Sweet 16. Hawaii, no. BYU lost in the first round to Texas. And Miami is out.
So going back to the whole hurricane
by the way, our
thing,
whole Elite Eight
have,
and final, that's out.
So we should have adjusted the hurricane thing. And for the mascot fight, it should have been that Pelican.
Against the Boilermaker?
Yeah. It should have been the Pelican from Miami. Like
and the Hawaii should have only gotten one warrior.
The Hurricane isn't a mascot.
Agreed. Hawaii should have only gotten one warrior.
That's on me. That's a bad job. I should have realized.
Well, we have we have nothing left. We have nobody in the Final Four.
No.
We have nobody. We don't have a single Elite Eight team in any region.
Yeah, that's happening too.
In the last region, which was, what city has the best food scene?
By the way, I was at Howard, Michigan. Howard gave him a heck of a nice little tussle.
They did, certainly early on. So,
and then St. Louis is arguably the most fun team that I think I've seen in college basketball in a long time, especially in person.
Oh man,
let me tell you
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
So they come out and I get Rex Specs he's the real deal, and they're a fun team. So they come out to warm up. There's 20 minutes on the clock, so they get 20 minutes to warm up. They're warming up. They're getting ready to play Georgia. At the 12-minute mark, Georgia goes back to the locker room to get ready.
Okay.
St. Louis just keeps warming up. St. Louis is stretching. They got bands out. They're doing their thing. I'm like, aren't they going to go to the locker room? Like, these guys are, like, wearing, like, undershirts and, like, they don't have any of their gear. About 3 minutes before the before tip-off. They go over to the bench and literally start pulling their jerseys and things out of a bag. They got ready on the court.
Why?
I don't know. They had a locker room. They literally are putting on their stuff, like tying their shoes, getting everything done, final preparations. Like, they had no intent of going back. They were like, it was like a rec team.
Yeah.
So fun to watch.
That's wild. Yeah, they are fun to watch, and he's great. Yeah, it's just a whole – it's unbelievable. Unbelievable. Yeah.
Siciliano, by the way, says Miami mascot is an ibis. My cousins went there. They would get angry when I, as
a reservoir of great information.
Huh?
He's a reservoir of great information. He knows a great many things. He's a learned man.
So, yeah, we made a mistake with the Miami thing. I think that would have changed things a little bit. Purdue would have been in there. You know, it's a boiler. I don't know. I think we would have had a better chance there. There were a couple things. We learned from our mistakes. We'll move forward.
We will. I mean, it's just no fun. We have nobody in the Elite Eight.
That's right. It's pretty awful.
It's insane.
I know.
It's almost it's like the opposite of the perfect bracket.
Oh, yeah. Yep, that's about right. It's pretty amazing that we somehow got to that point. What do you have in your regular bracket?
Well, I got smoked. I got smoked bigly on Kansas. I had Kansas going, and I had Florida in the final against Arizona.
I had the same thing. I had Arizona, Florida in the final.
Yeah, I had Arizona, Florida.
Like, I was all fired up because I had I ended up with 12 Sweet 16 teams.
Yeah,
the only team that had hurt me to that point was Virginia.
I had 14
Virginia
Sweet 16 teams, and now it's over. Yeah, Florida losing was very, very bad. Ugh. And then Kansas smoked me. Kansas really smoked me. It's very sad.
Yes.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else did I have for you? Oh, I teased it. Travis Kelce.
Yeah.
So, remember when we thought it was just like a 1 year, like $10, $12 million deal?
Yes.
That's not entirely true. How about a 3-year, $54.735 million deal that can be worth up to just under $58 million, $18.245 million per year average. Year one is $12 million plus $3 million in incentives.
Okay.
A 3-year deal for $55 million. So for those that thought that he was going to be
what's guaranteed? Did you say that?
I'm not seeing that.
That means that's here. Let's see. Let's see if Spot Track has it up.
I was going to say, does Spot Track have it? I was shocked. I thought this was a 1 year and probably
it's not void years or anything.
It doesn't have any additional information.
Come on, Internet. Come on.
Blessing!
You can do this. Yeah. By the way, it is supposedly on the east side right now really snowing.
Yeah, I'm done with this.
I'm so done
with it. I can't. This is okay. So Spot Track on Twitter says 1 year, $12 million guaranteed, 2 void years.
Void years. Cap. Yeah. But what's 3 or 50? How did you get to there?
Look at the next tweet from Spot Track. Travis Kelce's 3-year, $54.7 million contract is a 1 year, $12 million contract wrapped in 9 layers of NFL contract fluff.
So that's what it is. Okay. All right. So that makes sense. So it's still just a 1 year deal.
I guess. Sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you, Siciliano.
Yeah. All right. Good stuff.
I don't know. At first, the way it was worded made it sound like 3 years and $54 million, and I'm like, are we sure that that's going to be played all the way out?
No, I think this is definitely it for him. So here's what it is. It's basically a 3-year, $12 million contract. I don't know where you're seeing where that 50 number came from.
Rap Sheet had it.
He's wrong. It's a 3-year, $12 million contract.
Maybe he was taking a phone call.
$12 million are guaranteed, okay? But because of the void years, it's basically spread out over. So he's going to cost them $5 million this year, and then 3.5, and then 3.5. Even though he's only going to play for them this year.
So where is the discretion? If you look up Rap Sheet on Twitter.
All right, so this is why he's saying that. Come on. There's a poison pill of $40 million of 2028 salary that would be fully guaranteed on 6/8/2027 if he's still there. He wouldn't be there. They're going to cut him post June 1st on next year. Yeah. So no, this is a 3-year, $12 million contract. He's factoring in a poison pill that will never ever be activated ever to call it a 3-year, $54.7 million contract.
My sister is sending me a text. Explain Travis Kelce's new 3-year Kansas City contract. Thanks, sis.
We just did it.
This is crazy.
His incentives, 60% plus a playing time plus a playoff berth is $750. He can get up to $2 million if he plays 80% of the snaps and they get a playoff berth. With the Super Bowl, he gets $250,000 if they make the Super Bowl, and he played 60% of the snaps, he gets $1 million if he played 70% of the snaps. So if he plays 80% of the snaps and they go to the Super Bowl, he can make an extra $3 million. Otherwise, this is a 3-year, $12 million fully guaranteed contract that's spread out over 3 years. And that's it.
One other note here before we go to break. Last week's CBD fan bracket is also complete. The best men's college basketball program since 2000 is voted on by you, the fans, the UConn Huskies. They defeat Duke in the final, winning nearly 60% of the final vote. You guys had this when you put them at number 1.
Yeah, I'm surprised that they did win this because Duke just feels like it has more brand recognition. But when you win 5 titles, you absolutely deserve to do it. So I'm glad that they did.
Here we go.
There it is.
So much more.
So much more to come when we return here. Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Ballybet on 850 ESPN Cleveland. All right. How are you guys' brackets doing? Anybody's real brackets doing well? What's going on? We have a wall of brackets
what do you
over
got
there.
over there?
Yeah, is anybody doing?
Man's like he was grading everything like a professor here.
The most that any of us have left are 11 of the 16 Sweet 16 teams.
Yeah.
And I am happy to say that I am one of the people that has 11 Sweet 16 teams left.
Nice.
Do you have all 4 of your Final Four?
I don't. I have my national runner-up gone, but that's okay. Jordan is down to 1 Final Four team, I believe.
How many? How many do I have? 2. I have Arizona.
I think you have 3.
No, because Kansas and Florida.
Bo has Arizona and Michigan left, and he took Kansas and Florida to go to the Final Four, or Kansas and Houston. Sorry, so he has Houston left, along with Michigan and Arizona.
2 minutes. 2 minutes.
Zagura, you had Kansas, Florida.
Yeah, that whole side's out. I have Iowa State and
Iowa
Arizona.
State and Arizona. So you still
I only
got
have 2.
2.
Yeah, that's no good. That's no good at all.
No. I had Arizona, Michigan, Houston, and Kansas, and I had Kansas beating Houston to go to the national championship,
That's not
eventually
good.
losing to the Arizona Wildcats.
So we could also have the champion, which I guess is really the goal of getting the bracket right, like to pick the one team that wins it.
Yeah.
So we're alive for that. Is there still a perfect bracket?
There's not. Someone on ESPN went 43 for the first 43, which is pretty impressive. I think that's the longest streak there's ever been on the ESPN Tournament Challenge app.
That is wild.
Yeah, it's insane. They eventually busted on UVA and Tennessee. They took Virginia to go to the Final Four, I believe.
Oh, man.
1 minute. 1 minute.
And they lost a fun one to Tennessee. I think it's been a good tournament so far.
Yeah, it's been a very fun tournament.
I get that there's no real Cinderella. Like if you're banking on a double-digit seed, you're looking at Texas, and they've got
that's
Purdue,
okay, and they won the play. They played in.
Yeah, they were a first 4 team. It's funny. Gibbe was saying that last week. There's always a first 4 team, and he pointed out Texas. So props to him for Texas.
Gibbe.
Ball knower.
Ball knower. It's like when he tabbed James Hudson in the draft, and then the Browns drafted him.
With the Giants today, or no, Patriots.
Hudson?
Yeah.
Hey, he's still in the league. He was with the Giants. I think he was with the Giants last year.
That's right.
Yeah. All right. Siciliano will be in tomorrow.
Enjoy your assignment.
Buckle up. I shall. Hopefully get some sun. That'll be fantastic. All right. Thanks for listening to Cleveland Browns Daily, brought to you by Bally Bet on 850 ESPN Cleveland.